The RV market is cracking and dealers are dumping rigs for pennies, and these 18 models are leading the collapse. If you own one, brace yourself. If you're buying, beware. These units are financial traps waiting to happen. Let's break down the 18 RVs nobody wants in 2025 and why it looks like dealers are giving them away, starting with number 18, the Thor Axis 24.1. It started as innovation on wheels, but the road had other plans. Dealers once ordered dozens, betting that a shorter coach with a big rig presence would pull young buyers off the lot. Instead, reality arrived with a check engine light. Records show one VIN ending 7216, hammering for $4,900, down from $19,800 only 8 months earlier. Slide-out leaks around the sofa, fuel pump recalls, and soft floors by the entry door turned what looked nimble into needy. Owners discovered gasoline consumption closer to 8 miles per gallon and service bills averaging $1,500 per visit. Dealers call them floor plan prisoners, each day accruing interest while no one bites. For a viewer watching this market, the lesson is brutal. A smaller motorhome does not mean smaller risk. When financing costs rise and insurance tightens, compact luxury is the first to fall. This model marks where the boom officially broke down. And if this is the starting line, the next chapter shows how rot can spread beyond the walls themselves. Forest River Rockwood Rue 233S. What looked like a family favorite under the sun now molds quietly in the dark. Yet those folding beds tell a harsher story. During its boom years, families loved the idea of hard wall security with tent wall freedom. But moisture never cared about marketing. Service logs show roof seam leaks, warped cabinetry, and mildew creeping behind the bunk seals. One dealer listing dropped from $12,900 to $3,995 within 90 days. Storage lots smell of damp canvas that no disinfectant hides. Owners discovered that a single rainy weekend could cost $2,000 in demolding repairs. For viewers, the financial truth is direct. Hybrid expandables rot faster than they resell. Dealers now call them soft walls, soft margins, clearing them to stop floor plan bleed. Watch the lesson here. The next collapse won't be from mildew, but from metal fatigue, when a diesel engine's promise rusts just as fast as its bolts. Winnebago View 24D. Prestige met pressure when the promise of diesel efficiency turned into a financial drain. Built on the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter platform, it promised European refinement for American highways. Buyers imagined quiet torque, sleek cabinetry, and effortless travel. Then reality charged by the hour. Auction data lists one VIN ending 00821. Sold for $7,200 after sitting 120 days unsold. Book value once above $23,000. The culprit: diesel exhaust fluid clogging, turbo actuator failures, and parts delays stretching beyond 90 days. Routine service bills climbed near $2,000 before labor. For dealers, that meant frozen floor plan credit and lost confidence. For owners, it meant weekends canceled and budgets shredded. The View turned from a luxury escape into a liability badge. Remember this when a salesperson whispers diesel reliability. Reliability is not luxury, it is liquidity. And when the engine stalls, the next fall begins in the fifth wheel lanes waiting ahead. If you've spotted any of these rigs collecting dust at your local dealer, drop a comment and tell us where. Hit like if you're tracking the collapse in real time. Your feedback helps map how deep this dump really goes. Jayco Seismic 4113. Built for power and play, this giant now sits shackled by its own ambition. Dealers called it the rolling fortress. Then the fortress cracked. Warranty sheets recorded frame flex near the rear ramp, suspension fatigue, and interior separation after only 3,000 miles. One invoice revealed a unit once listed at $84,900. Dumped for $21,000 just to clear interest debt. The weight, nearly 15,000 pounds, demanded one-ton trucks few families owned. Buyers faded, lenders tightened, and storage yards filled with motionless giants. Every unsold hauler bleeds about $70 per day in holding cost, turning power into poison. For viewers watching prices collapse, this model proves that overbuilding can be as fatal as underfinancing. A garage on wheels sounds powerful until it anchors a dealer's debt line, and where the hauler falls, luxury fifth wheels soon follow like dominoes, drawn by gravity and fear. Keystone Montana 37 161 FL. Luxury was its selling point. Now it's the reason no one's buying. 6 massive slide-outs promise space, but deliver strain. Technicians whisper about bent rams, sagging floors, and delamination above the front cap. One auction record shows a VIN ending 09374 selling for $28,400. Half its original $59,000 value. Each failure point adds hours of labor, and every hour bleeds dealer profit. Families once called it the mountain mansion, yet most mountains crumble under their own weight. Insurance premiums rose, lenders capped exposure, and buyers backed away. For your wallet, this rig is proof that complexity corrodes equity. And just as these giants fall, gas-powered Class A coaches prepare to face the same gravity that luxury could not escape. Fleetwood Bounder 35K. The highway legend of yesterday has become the liability of today. But dreams age faster than engines. Rising fuel costs, scarce parts for the Ford Triton 510, and steep insurance premiums turned ownership into endurance. A trade-in record from Indiana shows one dealer offering $6,700 for a unit listed near $17,000. Proof that nostalgia no longer sells. Maintenance logs read like confessionals. Delaminated sidewalls, aging slide motors, and generator failures after long storage. For buyers, the Bounder once promised independence. Now it delivers invoices. Dealers quietly call them lot anchors, each day draining interest payments with no exit. The lesson is direct. Reputation cannot refinance debt. As the icons of gas power fade, diesel giants wait next in line, bigger, heavier, and about to learn that luxury offers no immunity from market gravity. Tiffin Allegro, RED 38KA. What once cruised with quiet confidence now idles in the shadow of depreciation. But the market turned ruthless. Auction data shows a VIN ending. 00138 sold for $39,000, less than half its $92,000 valuation 2 years earlier. Rear radiator failures, air ride leaks, and electronic dash outages haunt early models. Service waits exceed 8 weeks, trapping owners in costly limbo. Each idle day drains dealer interest and owner income. When rates rose and storage fees doubled, luxury became liability. The Allegro proves refinement cannot outrun depreciation. Airstream Classic 33 FB. The shine still blinds, but the numbers behind it have lost their glow. The Airstream Classic 33 FB remains a design legend. Polished aluminum curves, walnut cabinetry, the smell of prestige on every lot. Yet luxury cannot survive interest rate math. Dealer sheets from Florida show one listed at $114,000, then marked down to $67,000 after 120 days unsold. Underneath, oxidation creeps along the frame, air suspension faults trigger sensors, and replacement axles cost $4,000 each. Financing now demands near-perfect credit, excluding the impulse buyers who once lined up. For owners, insurance renewals doubled, and storage yards raised monthly fees by 40%. Airstream's heritage endures, but its economics implode. What once symbolized freedom now symbolizes frozen capital. Remember this gleam. It proves nostalgia can't refinance a note. And after the metal cools, attention shifts from silver shells to van bodies, where hashtags once promised profit, but now echo debt. Winnebago Travato 59K. It rose on social media dreams and crashed under real-world costs. Social feeds turned it into a symbol of freedom, minimalism on 4 wheels. But the math was never minimal. Built on the Ram Pro Master chassis, it carried promises of efficiency and independence, yet service ledgers tell another tale. A Copart auction listing shows a VIN ending 04431 sold as is for $8,500 after electrical failures scorched its lithium system. Transmission repairs average $6,000, and battery replacement can top $12,000 before labor. Dealers who once bragged about year-long wait lists now slash prices by 30% just to move units. Buyers who stretched budgets to chase the trend now watch equity vanish overnight. The Travato's downfall isn't mechanical alone, it's emotional inflation finally deflating. Next, the spotlight shifts from vans to trailers, built cheap enough to haunt every starter buyer's wallet. Dutchman Aspen Trail 26BH. Marketed as the perfect starter, it ended up as the first to be abandoned, but dealers now whisper its nickname, the starter trap. Underneath the glossy decals lie frame weld fractures near the tongue, roof membranes bubbling after one summer, and delamination spreading faster than warranties respond. A dealer screenshot from Ohio shows one marked down from $15,999 to $4,499. 3 months, one brutal correction. For new owners, a simple roof repair averages $3,000, erasing every imagined saving. As inventories pile up, finance departments call these models lot poison, bleeding interest with each unpaid week. The moral for any buyer watching prices tumble: cheap does not mean safe. In the race to the bottom, the weakest builds hit first, and waiting beyond the bargain bins, a half-ton illusion promises freedom but delivers fatigue. If you want to know which models are next on the chopping block, hit subscribe right now. We're tracking the next phase of this market slide, and those alerts might save you thousands before the next auction wave hits. Keystone Cougar half-ton 29 BHS. The math looked right on paper, until towing day proved it wasn't. Fully loaded, it tops 8,000 pounds with over 1,000 tongue weight, beyond most family trucks. Auction data shows one VN selling for $12,200, once listed near $27,000. Axle fatigue, tire blowouts, and cracked welds from overload fill service records. Buyers trusting brochures end up upgrading trucks or surrendering value. Dealers now call them paper spec liabilities. A lightweight promise turned into heavy debt. When payload math fails, resale disappears, and even bigger toy haulers ahead prove strength means nothing without structure. Forest River Wolfpack 365, PACK 16. Muscle meets meltdown when strength turns into strain and value disappears overnight. But the thrill ended at the repair shop. Warranty claims show ramp doors delaminating, fuel station leaks near the generator, bay and roof seams splitting before year 2. Dealers once listed them around $62,000. Recent markdowns hit $18,400 just to free floor plan credit. Owners complain about sagging rear frames after hauling side-by-sides, and insurance carriers now flag them as high liability units. Every unsold Wolfpack drains about $70 per day in interest, turning muscle into debt. For buyers, it's proof that power without precision breaks wallets faster than axles. Toy haulers built for toughness are collapsing under their own weight. And as this segment buckles, even the most popular family bunkhouses begin to feel the shake beneath their wheels. Grand design. Imagine 2800 BH. Popularity filled the lots, but oversupply emptied the profits. The Grand Design Imagine 2800 BH sold so well that dealers filled entire rows with them. Families loved the double bunks, open kitchen, and weight that fit half-ton trucks. But oversupply kills faster than bad reviews. Between late 2022 and mid-2023, resale averages fell from $16,000 to $6,400. Roof seam separations in the 2020 production run triggered silent warranty campaigns, and interior panels began bowing under humidity. Auction footage shows units lined up like mirrored twins, each fighting for one reluctant bidder. For buyers, that flood means leverage, but also caution. When identical rigs saturate the listings, repair costs rise while resale crumbles. The Imagine teaches a harsh lesson. Popularity isn't protection, and as it fades from favor, the smallest bunkhouse ahead shows how simplicity can backfire just as hard. Jayco J Flight SLX 7154BH. Compact design, lightweight price. Heavy regrets for anyone who believed the brochure. The Jayco J Flight SLX 7154BH promised compact comfort at an approachable price, marketed as the perfect starter. Yet the starter kept stalling. Weighing under 3,000 pounds, it looked like freedom on a hitch. But field reports show floor rot forming beneath the refrigerator vent after a single wet season. Axle bending complaints surfaced when owners overloaded gear by a few hundred pounds. One auction, VIN ending. 3125 sold for $3,200, barely half of its retail months earlier. Service records list missing underbelly sealant, warped door frames, and leaks at the roof seam corners. What you save up front, you spend in patch kits and frustration. Dealers now discount them to clear space for heavier inventory that actually sells. And as this micro rig folds, The next chapter shows how luxury diesel collapses under the same invisible pressure. Integra Anthem 44F. Perfection once glided on this frame. Now it sinks under its own luxury. But the silence grew heavier when buyers stopped calling. Dealer records show 2 units listed at $289,000 each. One sold for $142,000 after 100 days, while its twin still sits unsold. Service data exposes fractured slide frames, touchscreen control failures, and electronics that cost $10,000 to replace. Owners now face half-year waiting lists at certified repair centers. Lenders call them capital traps, coaches too expensive to hold yet too specialized to move. What was once a luxury badge has become a liquidity warning. When interest rates climb, elegance becomes inventory. Remember this scene, the gleam of chrome under fluorescent light, surrounded by silence. Because from here, the fall accelerates. From palaces on wheels to trailers built for work yet abandoned like castles in mud, Coachman Catalina Trailblazer 30 THS. Promised as the blue-collar warrior, it broke under the weight of expectation. But durability deceived. Owners reported wall flex cracks and ramp doors warping under modest loads. A marketplace post listed one at $11,900, still unsold after 4 months. Inside, insulation failed winter tests. Cabins turning frigid by midnight. Fuel leaks and rusted tie-downs crushed confidence. Dealers admit margins vanish, slashing prices below $10,000 to escape interest bleed. Simplicity without structure collapses fastest. Buyers chasing budget haulers find repair invoices instead of open trails. Every unbought Catalina repeats the story. Steel fatigue, soft returns, and trust declining in a market running out of patience. Keystone Montana 3761 FL. History tried to rewrite itself, but the same cracks showed up in the ink. The Keystone Montana 3761 FL returned in the 2023 lineup with a new badge and the same burden. Dealers hoped refreshed trim and brighter interiors would erase its history of weight and wear. Instead, auction sheets tell déjà vu in digits. One VIN ending 22119 fell 45% in value within 12 months, nearly identical to its predecessor's collapse. The 6-slide design still strains frames, while overhang torque cracks front caps. Shoppers love the floor plan until they feel the axle stress that comes with it. Even minor maintenance like seal replacements can run $3,000 per season. The market recognizes repetition as risk, not reliability. For anyone watching from home, this proves that reputation recycled is still reputation lost, and beyond this plateau of déjà vu failure waits the crown, luxury's final fall into financial gravity itself. Newmar King Air 4559. Even the throne of luxury can't escape gravity when the market pulls it down. But luxury ages like leverage. It compounds, then collapses. Auction data shows a VN ending 18891 sold for $115,000, once appraised at $347,000. Owners now face part shortages, outdated electronics, and insurers fleeing 7-figure policies. Service centers quote 6 months just for diagnostics. Each unsold King Air traps dealer capital like gold behind glass. Perfection has no market when confidence dies. This flagship proves prestige without liquidity, becomes debt disguised as design, and even the throne now trembles beneath its reflection. The RV market isn't slowing, it's unraveling. From luxury diesel rigs to budget-friendly trailers, these models are being dumped faster than dealers can tow them off the lot. What you just saw is only the beginning of a massive correction that's reshaping how America travels, camps, and spends. If you want to stay ahead of the collapse, not become part of it, hit that subscribe button right now. We're tracking every auction, every markdown, and every insider tip dealers don't want you to hear.